This is Mongolian Mindset, and today we're gonna be typing David Lynch. I think that's one of the movie directors that Zara is interested in. So we're gonna be looking at him to figure out his personality type. We'll be looking at what that personality dummy basically has for him and what we see for him. You guys know we use Berens Interaction Styles and Temperament combined with cognitive functions. Anything PC and Zara want to say before we get into this?
Yeah, he's been in some classic films like Twin Peaks, Mulholland Drive, and and Dune. And he's directed movies like Dune, and he's the tip of spear in terms of like films and abstract, particularly abstract films. Um, yeah, that's the overall gist. And he's kind of and it's kind of postmodern-esque type films.
Your PC, anything you got?
I'm not too familiar with the dude, so
Okay.
it'd be good. I'll have fresh eyes.
Okay, that's amazing. I don't know much about him either. All right, so we got David Lynch here. We're gonna look at personality dummy base, right? They got David Lynch as an INFP, ladies and gentlemen. We got him as an INFP. If you're not aware, we got the board here. INFPs right here at the bottom, right there, with the suns and the moons all into the bottom. So they're informative, they're responding, the outcome,
Mm.
their motive, they're affiliative, and they're abstract. They're TEFI and they're SINE. If he meets those metrics, we'll call him an INFP. If he doesn't, we'll find his actual personality type, guys. Um, Interesting.
Times. She held this, desire for 4 years to want to,
Right.
write the story and get it made. And I'm hearing about it. I live with Mary.
I know, I was going to say,
yeah, I live with her, and every morning, every night, I'm hearing about the straight story.
Straight story,
But she
Dave.
didn't get the rights for it until 1998.
Yeah.
So when she got the rights, she and her childhood friend John Roach sat down and wrote the script. They wrote it pretty fast. They took the whole journey. They went and interviewed many people.
They did this, they did this. It's all
S
SE and I.
SC. Yeah.
SE and I.
Everything, yeah.
Everything
Yeah.
SE and I.
Talked to the straight family, and wrote a script that I think of all the scripts I've read, I've really only liked 4 scripts, and this is one of the 4. I loved this script. I didn't think that I would love it. And so once I read the script, I was there.
All right, now, here's what's interesting about this. What are the other 3 scripts that you've loved?
Okay, I loved a script called Love in Vain about Robert Johnson.
So he's able to like list off what he loves. Obviously, that's FI.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and eliminate SE and I, all the board here, guys, because he's SE and I, and it's with abundance.
Mm.
Yeah, with abundance here, we got SE and I. So SE and I is already gone off the board, guys. David Lynch is SE and I. So that's gone. These are gone. And then that's a bitch. That's gone. That's
INTP,
gone. Yeah, that's gone.
ENFP, INFP.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So we're looking at either ESTP, ESFP, ISTP, INTJ, and ISFP. That's what we're looking at because he's an SE
Mm.
and I use it and we feel very confident about that. So when you're trying to type people, you look at what you're very confident about.
Mhm.
Great script. I loved 2 scripts by a guy named Gregory Brooker, Spring of '61
TEFI.
and The Fall and Rise of Glenn. And those 3 I loved.
Yeah, and plus, and so then hit. Now, Mary,
Talking about what he
FI.
loves, I would say like he's talking about what he values when he's talking about what he loves. That would be indicative of FI, right? And like he's
Mm.
giving it to it randomly, right? If I was to give somebody like PC something and he had to come up with like what he loved, it'd be a very troublesome thing. It'd take a lot longer. While this guy,
Nope.
he's really just get it out. He's ready to get it out.
Mm.
wants you to direct it. She says, take a look at this and see if you're interested in
Right.
directing it.
Right.
And but everybody notes, first of all, this is not like anything you've ever done before.
Right. it was curious. I'm reading the script and I'm feeling things, and I've always said that film is such a beautiful language. It can do abstractions.
It's a beautiful language. It can do abstractions. That's abstract.
Yeah.
Like I mean, me saying
And I'm already starting to think this dude's an INTJ.
Can do abstractions, and abstractions are the combination of all these different elements that you have in a film. It can do an abstraction of emotion, and I felt this emotion coming from the script, and that's what that's what lit my fire. The
emotion of what?
The emotion coming from a scene, from a word, from a look. When you read something, we all have the experience. We picture it in our minds, and those pictures, those initial things, are what guide us from then on.
Those pictures in his mind, I would say that's abstract.
NI.
Yeah. It's just
pictures are NI.
Yeah.
And this dude's super responding, man.
And so as this thing, you know, I was picturing it, at the same time I'm feeling things, and I'm thinking, film can do this, and it could be beautiful.
You spent 21 days.
Where's the progression, PC?
Sorry?
Where's the progression? Look at that. The motherfucker ain't got no goddamn outcome, bro. The nigga's allergic to the outcome.
The emotion coming from a scene, from a word, from a look. When you read something, we all have the experience. We picture it in our minds, and those pictures, those initial things, are what guide us from then on. And so as this thing, you know, I was picturing it, at the same time I'm feeling things, and I'm thinking, film can do this, and it can be beautiful.
God.
That's the outcome. That's the outcome. Film can do this, and film can whatever. That's the outcome.
You spent 21 days filming.
No, 31.
Okay, 31 days. All right, 10 more.
10 more.
In
that makes
Iowa,
a big difference.
You filmed it sequentially, too.
We had to film in sequence, yes.
Yeah. Richard Farnsworth. Was he the unanimous choice?
Oh, yeah.
Because he's brilliant in this.
Yeah. We're so lucky to have had Richard in this film. And everybody who's seen the film agrees that Richard is spectacular. I loved working with him. I think he's one of the all-time great actors. He doesn't consider himself an actor, which is kind of sad, but okay. He came about acting through, he was in the rodeo, then he was a stuntman, and then he came into acting, and he never really, because maybe he didn't study, or he didn't do this, or didn't do that.
Progression.
The guy can make it real from way deep inside of him, and it's a beautiful thing to watch.
Do you consider yourself, in your heart, a painter or a director?
I'm both. You know, that's what I am, both. I'm also a great guitar player.
Oh, are you really?
Yeah.
How about cook?
No.
Initiated. I'm also a great guitar player. So let's go ahead and knock off TEFI. I think, guys, what me and the group are looking at right now, we're looking at this guy's being direct, okay? And we're looking at NTJ here. We're not gonna hit initiating versus responding or process versus outcome, but we're getting systematic, so structure, and we're getting pragmatic. So we are looking at an NTJ with the abstraction as well. And TEFI. All right. So what we're looking at right now.
This dude's.
I
reckon this dude's a Chris Nolan clone.
We're looking at two types right here. We're looking at ENTJ or INTJ, and we're gonna go back and hunt.
Oh, I don't like cooking.
So the very important thing about looking at the ENTJ versus INTJ, I don't know if you guys have watched my previous video on conducting the parent versus the hero. It's like, which one comes first? Is the vision first, and then everything else follows, or is it the system, the structure is first, and got to get involved into a system and structure, and then the vision afterwards? Like the vision is almost what I would call supplemental. Like it can change around. So that's what you're looking at. You're looking at inner parent.
At all. No.
Don't like it at all.
No.
What else do you do well? You paint, you direct, you play the guitar.
No, I'm very interested in music. I'm not a guitar player. I play the guitar, but I am very interested in sound and music. I love working with Angelo Badalamenti.
He's done everything you've done since the
Yeah,
80s.
since Blue Velvet, right.
Yeah.
And now I have my own studio, and the primary purpose of it was to be able to experiment
primary purpose, I'd say that's the outcome. He literally outlined it for you.
That's a great thing to be able to do.
All right, let's take a look. Why is this man's journey?
Great thing to do, you know what I'm saying? Like this guy's, yeah.
Alvin Strait, played by
Weird,
Richard
he's a
Farnsworth,
weirdo. He's a weirdo.
across Iowa
Creative
to see
ENTJ.
his very sick brother on a tractor. Interesting.
It has to do with the reason he makes the trip, and it has to do with the difficulty of the trip, and it has to do with his age and the things in his heart.
That's what I'm saying. It has to do with what he feels and what he sees.
Right.
And how he feels about what he sees.
It's a beautiful reason to make the trip, and the trip has to be done in a certain way, and that's you know what it's all about, and that comes through, you know, for me, and you know, I think for others.
All right. Roll tape. Here it is, a scene with Alvin Strait, and when he's talking to his daughter, Rose, who's played by kind of an eccentric daughter, played by Sissy Spacek, about going to visit his brother.
Like he's just laying it out, bro. I feel like he's laying it out, bro.
We worked together, and first time I worked with Sissy, even though I wanted to work with her, but you've got to get the right part lined up with the right person, and it happened this time.
Now, is Mary happy with what you did with her script?
I hope so, yeah.
Or else, you know, come home tonight.
Yeah, she's happy. She's also the editor, so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and that's in fact what her profession is, right?
Right. Yeah, but she's producer now and editor and now a writer. So she's taking over.
Yeah, outcome.
Yeah, he's not like navigating the journey, bro. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. He's an ENTJ. He's creative ENTJ though. It's interesting to see him.
Having done this,
you go a little bit long.
Was it difficult for you? Because it's not the kind of thing you had been used to doing? Blue Velvet, this is a long way from Blue Velvet.
It's not difficult. Every film is difficult in a way, but it's so much fun. And the story dictates everything. And so once you fall in love and those pictures form and you stay true to those early feelings, true to the story, you go. It's the same as every film. I know it's different than most of my other work, but the way it goes is the same.
And
the way it goes is the same. That's systematic. Like, right? The way it goes is the same. To the systematic.
It wasn't any more difficult to do because you're dealing with capturing the emotion of, was it easier?
No, it wasn't easier. In some ways, it was more difficult. This thing about emotion, you know, it's an intuitive thing. The film talks to you, and the story talks to you, and
abstract.
So it's a little bit action.
We're getting abstract here.
And reaction.
Abstract.
You know, you're experimenting as you go to get the thing to feel correct. And how come it has to feel correct to me? And so you work and work until it does.
That's control. That's control. It has to feel correct to me. It's control.
Feel correct.
Yeah,
and on this, there were fewer elements going along in the sequences, and so each one became more important. And I start getting, you know, real fascinated about the way a sound would present itself, how it would come up out of nothing and go, and how it would die away. Those things became real critical, the way things appeared and disappeared.
Some will argue that restraint.
That was abstract. That was abstract.
Yeah.
Big PC, you missed a little bit of that.
And so each one became more important. And I start getting, you know, real fascinated about the way a sound would present itself, how it would come up out of nothing and go, and how it would die away. Those things became real critical, the way things appeared and disappeared.
Some will argue that restraint can heighten the emotional effect.
It's too little is not so good. Too much is not so good. It's that magic point when it all the lights go off like a pinball machine, and you know you're there, but you don't know exactly how you got there.
All right, roll tape. This is one final scene because I think Richard Farnsworth is so great in this. In which he talks about
outcome. You don't know how you got there. You're not looking at the process. Like a lot of times when you're focused on the outcome, you don't know how you got to it, or you arrived to a destination. You just know you got to a destination. That's what I would say. Like the biggest thing about outcome types, they don't know how they got to a certain way. Like if you can't reproduce what you did, like how are you going to be able to do it again? You don't even fucking know. You just know you just got to an end product. You just got to the end product, and you're happy with the end product.
Point when it all the lights go off like a pinball machine, and you know you're there, but you don't know exactly how you got there.
You don't know how you got there.
Roll tape. This is one final scene because I think Richard Farnsworth is so great in this, in which he talks about the importance of family.
That's N-E, N-I too.
When my kids were real little, I used to play
moving forward
a game with them. I'd give each one of them a stick.
You're at war with yourself, or are you trying to understand yourself, or are you on a journey to understand contradictory impulses? Or?
Exactly, yeah. To figure it out. Yeah. It's a mystery.
Is this simply a case of a gifted filmmaker seeing a script he loved? Or can you make more of the fact that you're doing this film in terms of the cycles and the evolution
of cycles of creative progression? He directed progression.
I have said that I think first you read a script or a book, or you get ideas, and you begin to fall in love, and at the same time you feel a thing in the air. Absolutely. And the thing in the air is always changing.
He's starting to remind me of Trump.
And something about the thing in the air verifies your love, or you kind of goes against it. And in this case, it went, with it, the thing in the air. And so it felt correct to go forward.
What's the thing in the air?
I don't know what it is. It might be, in Germany, they say it's a zeitgeist. They told me that name for it. And I don't know if that is.
He doesn't know what his NI is. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. It's like what I said in my video. Like if you're an ENTJ, you want to get involved in external systems, then the NI will come to you, right? Because the NI comes to you, not you come to the NI, right? The difference in NI hero is like they have a vision before they even set out and they do anything. Like the vision is the most compelling part of their life, right? The vision is something they're uncompromisable about, right? With NI parent, they're more compromising about it. If you can provide them with TE data, they will change the NI vision. You see that with Trump, like in real time now. If you're looking at him with his tariffs, right? He has his vision for what he wants to do with the tariffs. When he puts it out, he looks at what everybody else is saying about it, what everybody else is doing about it, and then he changes it. Why? And like Heroes, like, yo, I already seen this in my vision. Everything is going as if I have foreseen it. A big difference.
Is this thing that is always changing, and it's a product, I think, of every one of us. And since we're always, moving about and changing and going forward, this thing is always changing, and it tells you something.
Okay, the question I'm really asking: does this fact that David Lynch,
he like a shitty version of Donald Trump? Am I wrong with saying that?
This point in his life is making this film, like, beyond the fact,
like, with the hair and everything. Like Donald Trump got his hair all over the place.
Yeah,
it's like, bro.
Yeah, they all. It's like, I know.
Like if you gave him Donald Trump's hair, he looked exactly the same as Donald Trump. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know, but like I don't know. I know it's a weird pattern amongst some ENTJ males. Some of them are more the creative subtype, where they have weird, funky hairdos.
What you got, PC?
Actually, I'd say his hand movements.
Yeah.
Gordon Ramsay. I was going to say his hair reminds me of Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah, I think he's ENTJ, bro. I'm pretty certain.
Did you hear me?
Yeah.
I mean, we got him down to ENTJ. I mean, like, I think we're not getting enough pattern. I mean, not pattern, but like progression, and we're not getting enough NI hero. Like we're not getting propelling for like talking about a passion or a vision or like anything like that. Like because that's what in our hero be talking about. In our hero be talking about like, well, I was compelled to do this since I was a kid, you know, or I saw this when I was a kid, or like, you know, some type of thing like that. That's when you know somebody's in a hero when they say that I got this when I was a kid, right? That means you got the vision before the TE, not the TE before the NI, right? So that's the reason why a lot of ENTJs are slept on, because a lot of times it takes them a while to develop the NI, right? Because they got to get into these external systems and whatnot to really like to understand the
Mm-hmm.
NI as well as they want to. While an INTJ, they kind of get that early on. They just, you know, they get NI for free. They get NI for free. And then TE is like TE world. So they're gonna outproduce on the ENTJs because the world is a TE world, productivity. And when I
Mm.
talked about it in my videos, it's like when you're dealing with an extrovert, you need to realize that extroverts aren't as good as introverts at using the function, but what they can do is they can beat them in quantity, right? They can beat them
Mm-hmm.
in quantity, not quality. Quantity. That means they can continue to use the function. They can continue to get it done. Like, for instance, if you would compare ENTJ versus INTJ, an ENTJ could continually get things done over and over and over and over again, right? While INTJ, they may be able to get better work done, but they're gonna like cut things using the NI. They're gonna cut
Mm.
it using the NI. So like it seems as though they're able to compete with the ENTJ, but over time you're gonna notice that they can't do it. They can't reproduce it the same, right? They need their own time. They need their own alone time. Um, the same with like ENTPs versus INTPs, right? Like INTPs are gonna give you more quality like options, but the ENTJs, I mean ENTP can just give you options all day long. They can just generate options all day long, like a fucking
Mm.
sponge, you know. So like that's the big difference here. I think he's an ENTJ, man. Um, you got David Lynch here. I mean, David Lynch. Yeah. Oh shit. So we're gonna go with ENTJ here, ladies and gentlemen. Is it close enough? That's good. No, we don't like that. We do not like that. Purple. He's ENTJ. But you know the difference between this guy. Um, is that like when he talks, he's more control about what he's talking about. He's not going into about the journey of anything. A lot of times ENTJs can be told that they're informative, especially if they are the subtype for normalizing. They can really get hit for like fucking being but like informative because they got to get through their steps 1 through 10 about how they arrive to where they are. So I'm gonna say it's ENTJ guys. He's outcome. Anything you want to say about like Enneagram? Anything development? He's obviously creative. Like he's creative. He's a creative subtype.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he does movies. He's creative subtype. I'm gonna say he is above average.
Oh yeah.
Above average when it comes to ENTJs because a lot of things that ENTJ say is fucking stupid. I'm gonna be honest, like a lot of the information that they say is not thoroughly researched or like what they say is not thoroughly correct. Um so you'll be able to pull that call a lot of times with him, but this guy seems to be more correct than not correct. Um so like that's just a heads up.
Also, the way he taps into his FI is pretty good for an ENTJ.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
types into it. He knows what he values.
That's why PC thought he was an INTJ because he probably thought it was his child function. And there, yeah. So from that, it's like since he's using his inferior function or mastery or shows some mastery of it,
Mhm.
and yeah, it,
Yeah,
he's definitely above average.
yeah. I would say above
I'd
average.
even I'd
Great.
even say maybe Prodigy. I could argue that.
You can make an argument. Yeah, I think you can make a good argument for Prodigy. I just went above average just because it was easy, but I would say that he's in the Prodigy realm to above average realm, like either or, like maybe trapped in between that realm.
Yeah,
Is
that's fair.
what he's really at.
No,
Track between prodigy and above average, because like we said here, he seems to be well above in a lot of things.
Hmm.
Enneagram here, guys. I'm gonna go with a 6W7, man. I'm gonna go 6W7 because like I like a lot of people end up either 3, 6, or 7s, 3, 6, or 9s. I'm gonna hit him for 3W6 because I think it's more of a loyalist thing. Um, Something that he can get behind, something and then that 7 is that Enneagram, that like that extroverted intuition or whatnot.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm gonna hit him for SO. Like I think he's an SO because like leader of groups, and then I'm hitting for SP. That's what I'm thinking for the guy. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking integrate. That's just my perspective. That's not PC or ZARS or whatever. But I'm thinking he's more of a 6 SO slash 6W7. Leading into that 7 because like he's very creative about what he does.
Hmm.
What do you guys think about David Lynch, man? Anything you guys want to say?
He's
no.
spot.
I think you hit it. Well, sorry, go.
I think he's a spontaneous, well-developed ENTJ that's delved into his abstractions and also knows and is also deeply connected to how he feels
Yeah, yeah.
about things and shows it pretty well. And he's a well-integrated ENTJ, and yeah, he passed recently.
Oh, he
But
died. Oh, damn.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I,
passed in January.
I think very important to see about ENTJs is how they react to other people and their criticism.
Yeah.
Because if the FI is like a big vulnerability, they can't really handle criticism a lot of times. If you see an ENTJ that's constantly reacting to a lot of things, that means they haven't done the work on themselves to understand the difference when they shouldn't react. I think one of the best ENTJs I've seen online is Patrick Bet David. And he talks about how the military like helped him get away from like being vulnerable with a lot of things that people say. If you see ENTJ and they're very vulnerable, that means they haven't done really the work, right? They're really not happy with themselves, and they're not really happy with their values. So it's important to see that David Lynch, he didn't really have that problem, even though he had Trump's hair, somewhat Trump's hair. Um,
Think you even like made some some waves in 2016 because he liked him or something.
yeah, yeah,
And I was like, I was laughing.
yeah. Well, all right, guys. Well, that's David Lynch on you guys. We're
Yeah,
out of here. All right.
yeah.